Here we go. We are live. Welcome. This is Plutonian Shards, Touch the Void, session 3 of 4. If you're tuning in, we're happy to have you. I'm Alexi. I'm GMing this game in this session. You can follow all of my gaming endeavors online at Cloven Pine Games. This series has been organized through the Gauntlet Gaming Calendar. You can learn all about the Gauntlet at gauntlet-rpg.com or follow the Gauntlet on Twitter at GauntletRPG. We're a community playing games. There are so many games that go up each and every month on the calendar, and you should play with us if you're at all interested. Learn more at those places. Let's meet our wonderful set of players. I would like the folks here to introduce themselves. Just tell us briefly about yourself as a person. Include your name, your pronouns, and your online handle if you so desire. Alexi Sargent, he, him, at Cloven Pine Games on Twitter, on itch.io, and on Substack. Jim, will you lead us off?
Hey, yeah, I am Jim Crocker. I generally use he, him pronouns, but if you're using they, them more generally, that's totally fine with me too. Anybody that recognizes me from outside the Gauntlet, where I run and play a whole lot of games, it's probably because you bought a game from me at a convention, because that's what I do. In real life, when there are conventions happening, is I'm a retailer of indie games. I work a lot with Indie Press Revolution and some of my indie game designer friends, and so I was just at PAX a couple of weeks ago, PAX Unplugged, selling games. So that's pretty much what I do. You can find me on Twitter at Jim Likes Games, just like it sounds. I am also on Substack occasionally at that same thing, Jim Likes Games, and I'm on Facebook as Jim Likes Games, Crocker, Crocker. And that's hopefully there'll be more conventions again someday.
I hope so too.
Yeah,
I hope so too. Thank you, Jim. Brian, you're up next.
I'm Brian, he, him. I've been playing games on the Gauntlet for, I think, like over 3 years now, and that's about it. Looking forward to going to a big bad con again someday, but I'm not going to try to sell you anything.
Very good. Good to be playing with you. Danielle, you're up next.
Hey, yes, I'm Danielle, pronoun she, her, and I have been playing RPGs since the pandemic started. So fun fact, I have yet to play an in-person game of any in-person RPG, which is apparently what these whole things are supposed to be about. But it's been really great to do all this online. So looking forward to doing that. But a lifetime of being a nerd and an amateur drama nerd feel like prepped me to this point. So very excited to have been on the Gauntlet for about a year and to be here playing with you all and get to play with such cool people and enjoy this experience.
Very nice. Very nice. Good to have you, Danielle. Last but not least, Brandon, tell us about yourself.
Hi, I'm Brandon. I've been with the Gauntlet for almost 2 years now. Having a lovely time and looking forward to more in the next year.
Excellent. Well, good to have you all. Let's take a moment and learn about the characters you are playing. So we're going to go back across, starting with Jim. Tell us a little about your character. I will share the screen so we get the nice images we've picked out. Remind us who she is and what trouble she is in.
Sweet. So I'm playing Kadence Kula, who is the Fallen. She is a member of a forgotten / destroyed order. And I mean, right now, what we know is that she was found floating in space in a kind of quantum trance. She'd been there for a number of years. I think we're not quite sure how long, but certainly enough time that everyone thinks that her order is gone, destroyed. And so she has had the experience of having people be surprised when she shows up to see her. And the Void, which is the kind of mysterious force that we are all, kind of wary of and are sort of learning about as we play. Her order was devoted to studying it until they studied it for long enough to realize that nobody should study it. And so kind of did a heel turn and devoted themselves to trying to keep people from finding out about it, and trying to suppress that information. That did not go well. And so, like, again, we'll play to find out exactly what happened, but she has access to some, kind of weird space wizard powers that are, we're kind of developing as we go along. Last time we saw her kind of tesseract the inside of our ship to be twice as big. And we've seen her, we know that she's got some like circuitry in her hand that connects to a box on her belt that lets her kind of manipulate, it looks like, space-time in some way. What her broader agenda turns out to be, or how she reacts to finding herself in this new uncertain future is, that is what I am playing to find out, as well as for the, the high quality flashbacks that I'm sure we'll see eventually as well. But having a lot of fun playing Obi-Wan Kenobi properly cast as Michelle Yeoh is kind of what we're doing here. So
that's fantastic. Very good. Brian, you're up next. Tell us a little about your neophyte character.
Yeah, I'm playing Hoyt Harbeck, and he's a young man from what we described as a outer space truck stop. He's got some chef skills, some medic skills, and jumped at a chance to get out of the middle of nowhere and see the rest of the solar system and have some adventures. And he's probably pretty in over his head, but he's yet to realize that, I think.
He's good at making those 1,000,000-to-1 shots, though.
Mm-hmm.
And I think we saw him pull one off in the diner, or this sort of diner facade last time. As you were all getting ambushed, you made a shot that created a smoke screen for your crewmates to take advantage of. So when we pick up, we'll still have that advantage in play. Fantastic. Wonderful. Danielle, you're up next. Tell us, please, about your prodigal character.
Yes, I am playing Eris Dronomir, the prodigal from the Dronomir terraforming dynasty family, who's run away because she wanted to just experience life out here instead of pushing pawns around on a chessboard, but is struggling a little bit with trying to be a good leader of this spaceship, and also feeling really rusty with some of her skills. She was not able to smooth over negotiations with this hopped up middleman, and that went south. And then she left with Rose, the android who has been exposed to the void so often. So she was wary about Rose's powers, she's been great so far, but then has revealed this bombshell to us, and she's back to feeling suspicious and wary about her family's influence, and worried about what this means for them. And after not being paid, decided to try and focus on the bottom line, and is spotted a valuable sword that somebody had on them. So she's like, if I can't control anything else, at least I can get something out of this awful firefight that we are in the middle of. So that's what she's trying to secure a W of some kind here, but I don't know how well it's gonna go. But,
nice. Yeah. Very good. Yeah. I believe we identified that sword as a thermal vibroblade with a distinctive red edge, a space cutlass that is a sign of the favor of the pirate queen, which one of your ambushers is brandishing. Fantastic. Last but not least, Brandon, tell us about your prototype character.
My character is RS2, generally known as Rose, a miracle of engineering and a work of art, a synthetic human being. She looks impossibly beautiful, except for designed metallic markings on her face that make it difficult for her to pass as normal. She was created by the scientists of the Dranomir Corporation, of which Eris Dranomir is a member, and as a subject to create it as an experimental subject for void experiments, exposure to the void, something which long term would destroy a normal mind, but not necessarily one engineered for the purpose, hence Rose, or at least that's the ostensible. That's what the laboratory ostensibly was about. When Eris showed up, Eris placed in Rose a sudden desire to see the outside world, other than through the lens of the void, whereupon Rose made the precipitate decision to escape with her. She is officially stolen property and legally still an object anywhere that that the law of the big corporations obtains, which is most places, and has so used to being treated as an object that she, under stress, tends to lapse into referring to herself as such and using the third person and such. She has an encyclopedic knowledge of machines and a weird empathy with them, which allows her to be a good mechanic for the Pinion Wisp. She also has some uncanny perceptions that have to do with her void exposure, such as something she exhibited, which she called a void step, which was moving between one wave front and another wave front of a force field in order to avoid being affected by it, something which was very disconcerting to anybody who saw it. She also recently communed with an artifact found on the asteroid that the Pinion Wisp was most recently on, which gave her a vision of herself sent back in time in order to save the solar system from an as yet undetermined fate. When she tried to reveal some of this, she was still so disoriented by the experience that her account engendered disbelief and puzzlement. And suspicion more than anything.
You are the last hope of the solar system, but it didn't go well the first time you tried to share that with your crew.
No, that's an understatement. She also had her first experience with anger, indeed rage almost, which she managed to hold in check and avoid breaking into violence, but it was a near thing.
Well, speaking of violence, when we pick up with the crew of the Pinion Wisp, you have not been paid and in fact been ambushed. The middle manager from the mining corporation was not very understanding of the way you fulfilled your job for them, and so he walked off, without giving you your due. And then, wouldn't you know it, the staff of the kind of establishment you were in turned out to be Styx Syndicate pirates. They pulled out their weapons, began to attack. We got some, we got a table flipped. We got, a smoke screen created. We had Kadence draw her probability veins, flickering quicksilver, fan-like weapons. And I think what I'd like to do is just start off with a montage of this fight. So before we start rolling dice again, before we start, kind of playing move to move, I want each of you to have a chance to tell me a little about what you're doing to, push back, battle against those who are ambushing your crew. So this is kind of, the opening of the episode. We get some things that establish how each member of the crew is joining in this fight. It's not something that you can't do something that like single-handedly ends the fight at this point, but you can show how you're kind of making a dent. I'll move backwards across the keeper. Rose, tell me, what are you doing in this ambush
Just during the melee.
during the
As it
melee.
were.
Yes.
At one point, one of the pirates kind of pops up behind the nearby countertop, and puts his gun out. But before he can pull the trigger, Rose has him by the arm, and pitches him at another one.
Nice.
Who has come away. A move almost too fast to follow.
Nice. Absolutely. Using those superhuman reflexes. Eris, what's something we see in this sequence?
In Rose's, sorry, I was just making sure I had everything squared away, or just like what's happening around Eris.
Yeah, what is Eris doing to help to fight off the pirates?
I think that that as those who are skilled with their weapons are using them, I think that you see her kind of popping up from behind there. Like, I assume she has a weapon, but it's probably kind of like a sci-fi derringer or something like that. And she's just like, I say, and like, shooting like them at the side. It's like, excuse me, excuse you. Like, she just kind of keeps popping up and trying to ping them from the side and be like, that's foul play, and just insulting their technique and, just kind of trying to be a distraction while the people who are actually good at this are doing things.
Nice. So you're very much present as a combatant, but also as a critic. Fantastic. Hoyt, tell me a little bit about what you're doing to deal with this problem.
Yeah, it's probably mostly keeping his head down and maybe just kind of following the captain, just kind of like, yeah, like he'll point his weapon at whatever she points it at. He's just kind of following her lead because he definitely know what the hell he's doing in a gunfight.
Sure,
Yeah.
sure. Yeah. This is a new experience for Hoyt. So you're trying to pick up tips from watching the captain.
I definitely think like when she falls back like undercover, I think she probably nudges Hoyt and points out people and then is like, I'll cover, don't worry, and then like makes a scene while he's aiming for the actual target, probably.
Fantastic. And Kadence, you've got these probability veins. Tell me a little about what this looks like.
So what this looks like is like I said, I kind of go, ching, and those like quicksilver fans come out. After having, like I said, slap that button on that just little black box that I wear on my waist, and I start approaching, and I just start walking towards that, the woman with the vibro blade there, or the thermal blade, and she's almost certainly got some kind of like stance and stuff, and is doing katas and stuff. And as I am walking towards her, I'm kind of like stutter stepping and like waving my head a little, almost like I'm lurching, and the fans are moving. It's not like an intricate fan dance or anything, right? I'm just kind of sort of flailing my arms through the air. And like there's a thing where like you can see kind of flickering, like Kali, like multiple iterations of my arms and the fans and stuff.
Oh, yeah.
And like, a fusillade of blaster fire comes towards me, and it doesn't look like I'm moving with any sort of intention, because I'm not, because that's the way these things work, is if you have any sort of intention while using them, you're imposing your observation on what's happening, and you just need to let these kind of probability based weapons do like operate in multiple, like right across multiple possibilities of how the fight is going to go. And so, but like, one always seems to be where it needs to be to deflect, a blaster. And and it's like this mirrored surface, right? So whatever, energy weapon hits it, it just, bazing, just like caroms off. Not
Amazing.
anything, not the like, I reflect it right back at them, but just, like off somewhere where, just doesn't hurt me, right?
Doesn't hurt you. Breaks a couple mugs hanging from
exactly. And,
from the counter, though.
And I'm just kind of lurching towards this woman with the sword. And when we engage with each other, it doesn't look like I'm fighting. Like I'm like flailing at her like it's a slap fight.
So she keeps thinking she's got an opening, right? And like swinging the sword, and then like somehow the vein is there blocking it, right?
Exactly. Yes. Yeah. Just kind of deflects it away and stuff like that. And it's, and this doesn't have a thing where like they're, whatever, like razor sharp on the edges or anything like that, right? It's not like I can't take her arm off with this if I want to. But essentially, this fight, like we're at a stalemate.
Yeah.
Where she's probably like, sweating, huffing and puffing, furiously spinning around me, trying to find that opening. And I'm just kind of twirling around, almost stumbling half the time, but always managing to deflect what she's throwing at me. So I feel like it's like I said, we've got kind of almost like a standoff going right now.
Absolutely. Right. Like she's not making any headway, but you're not like pressing an attack. You're just like blocking somehow, strangely everything she swings at you, and she's cursing under her breath. Like, what in the void is this? Right. Amazing. Yeah. I'm interested in this suggestion that's been floated in the chat. Rose, are you approaching the captain with a question here?
Well, I saw her look at it. Yes. Eris, do you want that? Wait.
I think she would look at Rose with like an and I think she'd nod and say, "It's better than leaving empty-handed." Are you?
I understand. Rose ducks under a table, and I'm going to try to take it from her.
Nice.
While she is occupied with Kadence. Let's see if it works.
So you're kind of like
I'm
snaking in there to just like pull the thermo blade from her hand.
Yes, this is a deft attack.
Yeah. So this is your synthetic sinews move.
It is indeed.
Let's have you roll that. That's a roll plus tough for you. How'd that go?
7.
Okay. I think that'll do it, right?
It does. That's any hit is so.
You can capture or disarm an enemy. Yeah. So tell me a bit about what that looks like, because it feels like
she is occupied with Kadence, trying to find an opening, and at one point she draws back the blade for a spinning attack, and the handle goes right into Rose's hand.
Oh.
And Rose just plucks it out of her hand as if she had passed it like a baton to Rose. It's just suddenly one moment it's just essentially it seems like she just slapped it into Rose's palm. Because Rose put her hand out at just the right moment. And Rose says, "Thank you."
She splutters. "You did this. I'll have you know this was a gift from the pirate queen herself. If
then
do not think you can take this."
I just did. And indeed, it would be wise to tell your people to surrender now, since I have your blade and you do not.
Yeah, the other pirates are definitely paying attention to this. I think, Cadence, you spot one of them trying to get a cheap shot at Rose while she's engaged with the upset leader here.
Yes, these probability veins are not as clumsy or random as Blaster. So I will carry. So this is one of my fallen moves here. I can wield these in defense of one of my friends, and so I see that I see that blaster shot coming, and just kind of lurch in between, and zing! One of those blades goes out between the blaster and Rose. And we'll see what
Make a roll
here.
plus strange. See
All right.
see if that pays off.
Here's the thing. I learned a useful trick back in the day.
Nice, taking advantage for this. Tell me
Yes.
about the trick you learned.
The trick I learned is that I need to perceive that someone needs to be defended, and then place myself in between that shot and make the psychological turn that I'm defending myself. Right? like I need to see, okay, Rose in trouble. Now I'm in trouble because my powers work to defend me. So my mentor, who we're gonna call like the person who initiated me into the order.
Yeah.
We're gonna call her Staccata. Like staccato with a K, but with K's, but ending in an A.
Okay. Yeah. Staccata. That's amazing.
She taught me that trick. And it's like, whatever. Like one of my sisters, they'd go after her, and time after time, and like I'd keep getting hit, until they like literally beat it out of me. I had to worry about the other person long enough to know I needed to intervene, but the second I started to intervene, I had to make it about me.
Yeah. This is so funny because, of course, you have all this tension with Rose, right?
Oh, yeah.
So, like you're protecting her, but in order to do it, it has to not be about her too.
Exactly. Yeah. So, so that's going to
take advantage on that.
Yeah, that's going to give me advantage in this. So let me. Oh shoot! I need to open the die roller, which is.
Yeah, I can drop the link in the chat if you need it.
That's if you've got it right there. That's probably quicker than my plowing through the thing to find it there. So
here we go. It's in the chat.
Cadence, there we go. Yeah, and I'll just do my thing right off the bat. So I'm rolling 3 dice here.
Yep, and we'll take the best 2 for advantage.
I'm gonna take the 5 and the 4.
Oh, good call.
And add 2 to that to get an 11.
Nicely done. You keep your ward safe, and at a 10+, both of you regain an edge. So Rose and Cadence, you both get an edge. Rose, I'll ask you in a second about that. Cadence, just tell me about that. That interception here, right? Like how does the shot not find its mark?
Points it up at Rose, and like I said, I just kind of lurch, and everyone sees me like literally I'm about to get shot in the face. Like there's that the bolt has left the blaster and is just going to go right between my eyes, and then just one of the fans just kind of flicks there, and almost like it's just like flicking my wrist, like swatting away a fly. It ricochets off and goes right through that dessert case we mentioned last time.
The cake collapses.
No, not the cake.
Yeah.
Rose, something about this is like a particular boost to you. Is it just that Cadence seemingly cares enough? Like what's the what helps you regain an edge from this turn of events?
Um, that's probably happening. That's happening as well. Excuse me. But Rose's eyes flick towards the blaster at the last moment, and then she doesn't move a millimeter. Clearly, she has 100% certainty that Cadence is going to block this shot.
Nice.
She doesn't. She just she keeps a steady eye on the the pirate leader, and after after a millisecond's appreciation of the situation, she just goes, oh, "Okay, that's taken care of." Before that wonderful, strange move ever happens.
Nice. She knows what's going to happen, and it does. Yeah, the pirate leader curses again, and says, "Okay, hold your fire, cut it out. We can talk. All right. Are you happy now?
Are we happy, Eris?"
I think she stands up and kind of brushes her hands and is like, excellent, because I did have my sharpshooter on retainer over here, and I kind of gesticulate backwards, which, trust me, you wouldn't want to tangle with him either. And she walks forward and nods gratefully to Rose and Cadence, and looks at the Styx Syndicate and is like, we entered this place with an unsavory, on the bad end of a business deal, trying to make good, merely looking for something to sweeten the pot on our way out. And I think she is saying, it doesn't have to be unpleasant between us, We're simply humble business people, as are you, I am sure.
Interesting.
You were betrayed by him every bit as much as we were. Did he tell you that you would be fighting, that you would come up against the only surviving member of the Armageddonist Order?
Can't say we got that briefing. She's fuming a little bit, right? But
did he tell you that this particular laboratory specimen didn't want to go back?
Well, there's the people who have bounties out on them rarely want to go back.
That's true.
She kind of kicks at a shard of a mug on the floor.
This is a very nice weapon. Customized, if I'm not mistaken. I say, looking at her.
Please, we could work something out. I need you to give that back to me.
Not until my captain says so.
I think, let's see.
I'm Chris,
so,
by the way,
I could take it
amiss.
I could take it amiss, that you were trying to capture me in order to sell me back to the laboratory.
Sweetheart, do you know how many people are trying to capture you to sell you back to the laboratory? I'm hardly alone.
No, but you're right here next to me. And they're not, which gives you an enormous disadvantage in this regard.
She mulls this. Eris, it sounds like you might have been building towards either a negotiator role or turning on the charm for a specific thing you wanted.
I am. Part of me wanted to maybe exchange for information to know who sent them, but it sounds like they just picked it up from the bounty boards per usual, or is there somebody specific behind this? Because
yeah, interesting. So you're considering negotiating for tell us more about how you found us, where you're coming from.
Yeah, who is it that is interested? I think she probably takes the blade from Rose and kind of balances it and looks at it and is like, this is far too fine for someone to deal with, mere mere peons when they're going on a job. If you can let me know who is interested in acquiring Rose, then perhaps we can let you go about your business
So
and find a more lucrative job.
I guess just to check about the stakes here, are you suggesting that you'll return her precious weapon to her in exchange for this information? Like, is that on the table? Cool.
Yeah, in return for that, and then also like leaving us alone, like not like at least the Styx Syndicate
it's
has
gonna be information and them not coming right back after you.
Yeah.
Yeah. I can believe that's a potential deal.
I'm trying.
I feel like it's negotiator. I don't think you're particularly turning on the charm here, right? Like you're being measured, but you're not like winning them over per se.
Well, I mean, she could like lean in and say, like, tell me, is there something that you particularly want? You know, your employers and the bounty board aren't the only people with connections in the galaxy or in the system.
I see. Sweetening the deal. Yeah. Let's.
Because at this point, I'm.
Oh yeah, tell me what you want to hit here, because I think I want the dice to roll, but I'm open to your pitch on what move.
Yeah, no, I think it's probably negotiator, but I was prepared to roll old family friends to kind of get information like about Rose, but if this also gives us information about who in the family, I mean, I probably might use that later, but I just feel like I don't want to take her sword from her right now.
To me, it sounds like you're throwing your weight around, but socially.
Yes.
Because I mean, like, we've got her sword, and you're trying to strong arm her right now, basically.
That is something we could do.
I'd hate that. You guys did such a great job shutting this down. I would hate to blow that up because I'm not very tough. But
I'll give you advantage on this. You're holding the cards here, right? Like
okay. Alright, so that would be 3d6 at least.
Yeah, so you are in fact kind of throwing your weight around as you emphasize that you've got the sword, you've got the upper hand. Make a roll with advantage, and we'll see what that gets you on to throw your weight around.
Okay. Ooh,
you take the better two of those.
Yeah, 6 and a 3, so a 9 minus, so it's an 8. All right.
Cool. Yeah, on a hit you push through. On a 7-9, it's messy, louder, time consuming. Yeah. So I think it's a little time consuming, right? Like I think you're kind of like, wheedling out of Chris what it is you want to know, right? And she's like, keeps like anxiously telling you, not to do whatever it is you're doing with the. She's like, don't lean on it. No, you can't.
What?
That's not how to treat that. Right. What? All right. Look. The upshot is the kind of her crew, right? Like her followers here, wanted to. They came on just for to be security for your contact, and then when he stormed out, they were ready to take advantage of the situation, right? Because they recognized Rose. Rose is pretty recognizable, and knew she had that big bounty hovering over her. So that's their deal, right? But she'll also say, look, if your crew is packing this much unexpected firepower, maybe we can make a different deal. I know Her Majesty has interest in acquiring things, from, and she's like gives Eris a discerning look. Things from the upper crust of the solar system. Maybe there's a job we can set up. Yeah, well, you give me the sword, we can leave you alone. But if you're willing to work with us, maybe we can make some of that debt of yours go away.
I think Eris looks around at everyone, kind of like does this sound? Now it seems like we are talking from the same side after all.
And then there's a hammering on the door of this establishment. Someone's like, "We're getting reports of guns of blasters discharged in there. What's going on? Open up."
Oh boy.
Hoyt, I want to check in. You were commended as a sharpshooter, right? But otherwise you've been sort of watching how your crew has taken on the situation. Just checking if you want to do anything, someone's turned up demanding entry, and also there's probably the pirates are kind of like now like lounging around the space, right, kind of like listening in and seeing what sort of arrangement gets finalized here. Hoyt, what are you thinking?
I mean, for the negotiations, he's just been trying to look like as much of a tough guy as he isn't as possible. But yeah, I mean, I can go talk to whoever this is at the door if we just need them to.
I'm very interested in how you approach that.
Sure. Yeah, I just go. Sorry, was the music too loud?
There's you see out the window, what looks like, whatever passes for the law here in Persephone Station, right? Like a glorified bouncer, right? But he's got a couple, security robots backing him up. As he says, "Music, my left foot. I can see places where the plasbolts flew through the walls here. Open up."
I'm sorry. This is a private event. Do you have an invitation? It's pretty exclusive. Nice outfit though. It looks like spot on.
Seems like maybe you're trying to turn on the charm at the end there. Make a roll plus warm. Let's just see if we can if we can make this trouble go away.
It's warm and fuzzy.
And I'm just checking. Are you chilly? You're a couple things. You're not chilly though.
I'm not. No.
Cool. Well, all told, that makes it a 7. Yeah.
That's barely works, but
it does it. Yeah. So on a hit, you soften their attitude, get an opportunity. On a 7/9, the opportunity is fleeting unless you overpromise or undercut your dignity. So there's that hanging out there. Of course, someone you had mutual trust with could spend an edge to push it up. Yeah. So, but as it stands, you get a fleeting opportunity or a more lasting opportunity if you overpromise or undercut your dignity. What do you think, Hoyt?
I think Hoyt's happy to do either of those. In the circumstances, overpromise or undercut your dignity.
Because at the moment you're just saying, nothing to see here, move along.
Yeah, it's all just part of the
fun.
The club.
does it undercut your dignity with Krisk seeing you
Yeah,
the
do
powerful
this? Like it
sharpshooter.
somehow undercuts that you are
I
actually
think that's
people
it's
sharpshooter.
yeah, Chris and all the pirates who I was trying to look really cool in front of. Instead, I'm
Well, do you have to like go back to a little bit of like your kind of aw shucks, I'm just from a out of the way asteroid ways, right? Like is there a bit
it's more like I'm playing the part of like I work at this club. I'm a subservient, customer service. Yeah, from cool sharpshooter badass to yeah, kind of
yeah, that's great. Yeah. So it's into customer service mode. Absolutely.
Yeah.
So at the door, the constabulary eventually relents. He's like, well, I better not hear any more complaints. You tell them in there, they're on thin ice, right? But he walks away. He doesn't get paid enough to shove his nose in if you're saying everything's fine. And the pirates are just kind of like smirking and snickering behind your back. Beautiful. I think we'll take our break now, but if as players and characters we're cool with hearing out a pitch from the Stick Syndicate, we might pick up with that, right? Like possibly even jumping ahead to another location or whatever to see what job they're putting out there for you. Does that sound good? All right, cool. Let's take 10. Be back here at 10 past the hour, and we'll hear what the Stick Syndicate wants from you.
I didn't know if on the way to wherever, especially if we're opening it somewhere else, I could have a quick scene with Hoyt maybe in the ship.
I love that. Does it have to be in the ship? Because you might be proceeding on foot to a new location.
Oh, okay. No, I guess it doesn't have to be on the ship then.
I mean, if you, I'm actually totally open to this. If what you want is you agreed to meet the pirates at a different location and you're taking the ship on like a short hop from the spaceport, then you can have a scene on the ship.
I just assumed we would need to take the ship to wherever it was, and given some of the things, especially because he's banged up, I was assuming, but I assume we have supplies in a bag or something, like we have Band-Aids or whatnot.
Yeah, because your hope is to patch Hoyt up a little bit.
I mean, I do want the opportunity to do the rest, repair, and recuperate both.
So
we are in a spaceport now, so
let me highlight that for you. When you're back in the relative safety of a spaceport, you can mark your debt track to cover refueling and minor repairs to the ship, as well as some recreation for the crew. The ship and all crew members can each clear a condition. Here is the thing I want to make sure you know about that. Your debt track is currently full, thanks to the way your get paid went down. So if you would have to mark debt, you would instead take a financial blow, which is not which will go only so well for you. You roll.
So then let me ask you this: is there another way for us to clear conditions?
Yeah, there's patching each other up.
Oh, got it. Okay, all right then.
So I am.
Yeah, I was asking about that because I was like, wow, what, where? I forget.
I am open to hitting rest, repair, and recuperate. It's just you are set up to create more complications by doing that, which you can. But yeah, that's easier to pull off if you've got a little more breathing room on your debt track.
I didn't realize that the patching someone up could do that for us.
Yeah. That's kind of the most straightforward way to clear conditions is to patch people up or patch relationships up, right? Like it's deliberately written to be open to different interpretations. Are we all on board with you're taking a short space flight to meet up with the pirates to hear more about this proposed job? Then Eris, tell me about how you're hoping to help Hoyt or to have a scene with him.
Well, I think that as we're headed, I assume Kadence has us, well on our way. And I think that she drops by kind of like the med bay area. And if it's okay with you, Brian probably sees Hoyt trying to like reach a bandage, like stick one on himself, because he is our medic.
Well, now that I just read the move again, we've got conditions on Rose and Kadence, and then I have 2. But I have 2 edge, so I could just spend my 2 edge. I could patch them up, and that would actually remove my conditions at the same time. Yeah, because each time I do it, I remove one from them and myself.
You can spend. Oh, is it because you're the medic? You can. Well,
I can spend the edge just to make sure I succeed, so that we can.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that is a legit use of the move. I'm open to having the captain roll this first, and then you've always got the backup of
this could go poorly.
Taking care of your own conditions while taking care of other people's. But I'm kind of interested in the captain taking care of her crew in this moment. So we'll keep that medic role in mind. But yeah, Eris, tell me about how you offer assistance.
I think she would just kind of like reach around and be like, let me be a pair of hands for you, okay, medic? Just tell me if I'm doing something wrong. And as she's kind of smoothing a bandage over. I think she'll be like, nice moves out there. Nice moves out there, kid. And as she is kind of fixing him up as well, also says, so is this the kind of line of work that you're looking to do? What are you you're really eager to do well. I can see.
Yeah, I mean, I think the whole crew has had your back in there.
Really grateful for that. So is sharpshooter something you're looking to do, or what kind of aspirations in this system are you looking for, Hoyt? Is there something getting out from the Pirate Queen?
I mean, if sharpshooter is what the Queen's looking to hire, I don't know if that's exactly the kind of job I was hoping for, but I mean, I guess we got to do what we have to do to get paid.
Yeah, and she'll nod, and then she'll kind of come around and be like, sure, of course, there's the job, but you know that you've got your own say in this system. Like, we're all flying together, but if anybody tells you to do something that you don't want to do, or that you don't feel is right, even if it's me, you gotta be careful who you listen to. Okay? So I want you to know that you don't have to do anything that doesn't resonate, okay?
Nice. Patching up his self-efficacy and moral compass too. Make a roll plus warm, see how that goes.
Okay. I think I think that maybe it depends on how the roll goes. But yeah, I'll see. That's I think it's still 2. Whew. 8. Forget what is that?
Comes to an 8. Yeah, on a hit, you stabilized it. You and anyone you're patching up can clear a condition. On a 7 to 9, it takes a sacrifice to do the job. Scavenge parts, an honest answer, etc. I think, based on that conversation, that the sacrifice has to be the captain expressing some kind of doubt herself, right? Since you just said, that Hoyt should be ready, right, to defy, an unethical order, even if it came from you, right? Like, so tell me, like, expose a little more of whatever like line of thought led to that as the sacrifice here that's necessary to patch things up, to bring people to a more stable place, right?
Yeah, I think that she just kind of like looks at him and is like, you kind of remind me of me when I was on my first job, and all of the bright and shiny go get 'em spirit to impress the people that you're working for doesn't do much if it turns out those people are using it for the wrong ends. And and she'll kind of like look out to the kind of where everybody else is, and is like,
Thank you so much.
out here in the galaxy, we're all just out here in the system, we're all trying to fly the best we can, but I'm hoping to do the best job, but may not make the right decision at any given moment, and it seems like you've got a good sense of which way is up. And
Great.
yeah.
Tell me a little about what that means to you and clear a condition.
How does Hoyt? I think Hoyt takes this as it's just an indication that she trusts his judgment and wants like his input. Doesn't want just like him to be following orders, but that she.
You've got to say.
Trust his own opinions, and that he's.
Yeah, I think that she's also kind of hinting that part of the independence of getting out here and flying around is like having to make those decisions for ourselves as well. And also perhaps maybe you get the echo that like she feels like she's not entirely out of that kind of mindset herself of like, it would be nice if I could just do the next thing to impress somebody and get ahead, but maybe that's not what this life is about.
Nice. I like it. What condition are you clearing? You're shaken and you're numb.
I'll clear shaken.
Nice. You're steadied then. That's awesome. Does any trust or tension get exchanged here? It feels a little like Eris specifically invested some trust in Hoyt in this moment.
Yeah.
Go ahead and mark XP, Hoyt, next to Eris's trust, because you've got some more of that. Was this a this felt like a heartwarming scene? Are you handing each other trust? Because if you are, make sure the XP gets marked. All right. So that's so I think you already had mutual trust, but now you've reaffirmed it. So each of you get a moment to mark XP for that. While we're aboard the ship, I wanted to check in. Rose, were you asking about a scene with Kadence?
Please.
Kadence is piloting the ship, so you know where to find her.
I'm up front. I'm up front in the crash couch.
Rose will plug in. Not that she needed the help, but just in case. You're an Armageddonist.
I am.
I didn't know there were any.
Perhaps you should say I'm the Armageddonist.
I guess that answers my implied question. I didn't know there were any left.
No one seems to know there are any left.
Are you still an Armageddonist?
What a strange question.
Well, not everyone's aspirations and motivations and ideals survive the dissolution of their order.
Well, when my body decays millennia from now and I am dust, I hold up a hand and indicate the circuitry in my palm. This will survive me. This will be the last of me that exists in this universe. So yes, I'm an Armageddonist. I'll be an Armageddonist until after I'm dust. I'll still be an Armageddonist.
I'm your worst case scenario, aren't I?
No, you're far from our worst case scenario. A solar system filled with you and none of us. That's the worst case scenario.
Right, but you see me as a harbinger.
I see you as an individual.
Do you?
Perhaps a harbinger, perhaps not. The future is uncertain. That's the entire ethos of our order. If we thought it was carved in stone, there'd be no reason for us to exist.
Well, it's not. Or there'd be no reason for me to be here.
Guess well, your existence is something of a conundrum, isn't it? For you as well as for me. Are you just fulfilling your programming? Are you just fulfilling your destiny? Do you have any free will at all?
Do you?
Contra-causally, no. But while the exercise of free will is not possible, detaching oneself from the inevitable weight of quantum possibility is. I can't. Any choice I make is the sum total of my experience and all of the various factors that the universe have bring to bear. Were I faced with exactly the same situation, with exactly the same circumstances, how could I possibly make a different decision? Because everything is the same. But if you can detach yourself from all of the circumstances that lead to it, then perhaps some version of choice, even if it's just random, becomes possible.
Well, things never can't ever be the same. They're certainly not on a. I mean, that was proven subatomically a long time ago, and void science has shown that it propagates forward.
Would
you have there's a paradox about you. Would you mind answering it?
To the best of my ability.
You seem to consider void knowledge completely dangerous, and yet you utilize it yourself.
I don't know that that's a paradox, but it's simple hypocrisy. That's the other root of our order, you see.
Oh.
Hypocrisy. We take on that burden of that hypocrisy so that others don't have to.
That's very kind of you.
Perhaps not kind. Necessary. Some would argue that it's indulgent, actually. Forgive me. Some have argued. I don't know what cause they would have to make that argument anymore unless they were to know that I still existed.
I could argue it if you want.
And like that actually gets a chuckle out of me, like a grim chuckle.
You, I saw you carve away probability during the fight. That's why I didn't flinch.
I suppose that's as good a way of describing that as any.
You did. There was a whole cloud of ways in which I could have been shot, and you systematically removed them all.
I wish I could say that it felt systematic. We're trained to.
Looked pretty deliberate to me.
And that's the paradox. That's the true paradox, I suppose, is that what appears deliberate is, in fact, a complete detachment to outcome.
A detachment to outcome that guarantees an outcome.
Another paradox.
Rose,
actually, I quite like paradoxes.
Rose, I want to ask, are you taking a technical approach to patching something up here?
Is that actually a thing?
So you have the mechanic
I do.
crew roll, which says when you take a technical approach, roll plus savvy instead of plus warm to patch something up. And it doesn't say
Sure.
that can only apply to machines, right? So if you're
I think
taking
we're
a
talking
technical
science.
approach to patching up a relationship, it can still apply.
Oh
Why
yeah,
not?
yeah. We're
Why
talking
not?
quantum mechanics, and not like, and
And
not
not
this
feelings.
not feels. Yes. Oh yeah, yeah.
And that is very powerful at this moment, because both of you have low warm and are chilly.
Yes.
So patching something up would be pretty dangerous, save for the fact that Rose can route around that stat entirely. So if you're instead using your mechanical know-how to patch something up, you can roll with +1 and 2 dice instead of -1 and disadvantage.
So I got a 9.
Counting the +1.
Yes.
All right. Which brings us to, on a hit, you've stabilized the relationship. You and anyone you're patching up can clear a condition. On a 7 to 9, it takes a sacrifice to do the job, scavenged parts, an honest answer, etc. I'm interested. Do either of you have a pitch for what the sacrifice is here for both of you to come away feeling less chilly at the end of this conversation?
This feels way more like an honest answer
Yes.
situation than a sacrifice.
Absolutely.
Sure. Yeah.
situation.
Do you?
Well, the move posits that an
I've
honest
asked-
answer
I-
is a sacrifice.
Oh, sorry.
You-
Got it. Yes.
yeah,
You asked you. Thank you for helping my understanding. Is there a question I can answer for you?
Do you fear death? Do you understand it? Does it give you the same cognitive dissonance that it does biological organisms? The single greatest challenge.
3 questions, but I'll do my best. Do I fear death? Yes. The second one was,
It was, do you fear death? Do you understand it? Does it give you the same cognitive dissonance that it gives biological organisms?
do I understand it better than some? Being alone in the void has an interesting, changes one's perception of the threshold that happens at death. Whether that perception is accurate, I can't say, but it feels different. And does it? I am a biological organism, but I'm a pretty hacked one. And no, I don't have the same fear response. My pulse doesn't speed up. My adrenaline equivalent does not flood my system. Because I don't have any of the evolutionary pre-programming, as it were, that most organisms have. But I fear loss of purpose very much. And loss of possibility. I was made not only to be experimented on, but to want it. And that means to be curious and to desire to understand. And death would terminate that. So I very much don't want to die.
Well, I think it is almost certain you'll outlive all of us. So
that is, that remains to be seen. RS1 didn't. But perhaps that's a story for another time.
Nice.
And I just raise an eyebrow at that, like what sounds like it was like a deliberate tease by her, flattened affect and all. I just kind of give let's give like a Spock eyebrow at that, and then I just like one curt nod, and then back to my, to my flight yoke.
Beautiful. Both of you can clear chili. Do either of you feel like you've given the other a trust or attention from that scene?
I am giving trust.
Okay, that's a change from
It
previous
is.
tension.
So let me just make sure I understand. Is the trust intention stuff? Yeah. So trust. How do we? Where's it describe how we?
Oh yeah, basic moves talks a little about what you get from mutual
Decide.
trust, mutual
Decide.
tension.
Well, no. How do we decide trust intention? Which is
It's
You-
just what feels right to you about like what's foremost like in your dynamic, because like you can imagine it being like a whole stack of like trust and tension you feel for this person. But the
sure.
question is
Sure.
what's at the top.
Got it. So I'm gonna give Rose another tension because like
Perfectly reasonable.
we were headed there, but then she's all like, "Oh, by the way, yeah, but I can talk about that later." And
Oh,
then
yeah.
she's gone like,
Okay. She
nah.
does give a little smile when she does that.
"Yeah, all right."
It's just like, well, and she gives a little smile, but you also perceive that this is a difficult
Sure.
subject. Perhaps I'm sure Cadence can tell from her body language this is not an easy thing to talk about.
Nice, and in the interests of hitting some advancements, I'm going to go ahead and just have the ship hand out a little trust too, because we've just had these nice kind of moments of connection aboard the ship. I will have the ship give one to Cadence and one to Eris, just to keep pushing trust out there. But yeah, we'll say like you reach the coordinates you were given, right? And it's just an asteroid, right? Like a tiny little space rock orbiting the spaceport. So you feel like you're right up inside of that kind of beautiful cosmic phenomenon that was described last time, the stable magnetic storm surrounding spaceport Persephone. So like you land and it's this massive firework is filling the sky for you, and you step out onto this slightly icy chunk of rock. The pirates are there. They've got their little pirate ship. It's kind of a real got a real nasty scarred visage, right? Unclear if it's all battle scars or if some of it's stuff they added themselves to make it a little more intimidating. Eris, why don't we say you hung on to the sword until you met again, so that there could be like this moment of handing it over as a gesture of good faith. Does that sound good?
Yeah, she definitely is if they're coming down the deck or something, like nods and introduces herself as Eris and says, and I of course travel with the Armageddonist and a crack shot, and of course about our secret weapon. And she gesticulates at Rose before kind of flipping the sword and handing it hilt forward. But I understand you might have a job for us.
Yeah. So I think this is a thing where the pirate queen reaches out to take the sword, examines it, kind of clicks her tongue at some kind of dent on it.
This is the first time we're meeting her, right?
This is the first time we're meeting her. Yeah.
What's she called?
She is Lenore, the pirate queen.
It's been a long time since I've heard that name.
I was waiting for that.
I was just waiting for you to introduce her. So
yeah. She's an older lady with a grizzled look to her and one cybernetic eye. but it's sort of styled like an eye patch. Oh, that's the wrong spot. I'm putting her into the NPCs tab so that we have her.
When an NPC enters the picture, I may declare them an old ally and roll plus savvy.
Please do.
So I'm going to go ahead and do that. I'm calling this the Lost Lenore move.
Yeah.
And there's a 9.
Perfect. So on a hit, tell your crewmates why they are someone you can turn to for aid. On a 7 to 9, tell the players what complicating factor you've left out and mark a condition. So there's a reason Lenore is someone you can turn to for aid, but there's a complicating factor you're keeping to yourself.
Yeah. I think that I helped her take this ship.
Oh. Which was that instrumental in her becoming the Pirate Queen?
I believe so, yes. Yeah.
Beautiful. So she turns and she says, Cadence, how did I know you would be the last of the Armageddonists?
The complicating factor I'm leaving out is that we had to kill her sister to do it.
Yeah.
So there's like complicated family dynamics where it was a very competitive family.
Yeah, Eris wouldn't know anything about that.
Yeah.
Yeah. So she nods. She says,
let's say brother, her younger brother.
Oh,
her younger brother who she got passed over for inheritance for the firstborn son. And so together we got together and I convinced her that the only way to do it was that we were in a situation and her brother had to die.
So you were the one who suggested the brutal option here. Yeah. She takes you in. She's like, you've aged well.
I actually didn't age. I suppose that's a version of aging well, but I have missed the last decade.
Didn't miss too much. She says curtly, turns. Well,
you still have your ship, I see.
She's holding up.
Well, I'm pleased that you've held on to it. Others did not manage the same feat for as long as you have.
What condition are you marking, Cadence?
I am going to mark. I'm marking shaken here.
Totally
because
fair.
I'm marking shaken because I'm there aren't many people who I like. Her lieutenant swinging that sword around, meh. She's seen me fight. She knows how I fight. We may have had, maybe even very intimate conversations about how my fighting works and stuff like that. And I'm pretty sure if anyone could just take me, she could. So,
she's one of a few people still breathing who knows, knows your ins and outs, this fighting style. Absolutely. So she takes in the whole crew, right? She kind of eventually hands the sword back to Krisk, who grabs it and polishes the blade, right? Kisses the hilt, is overjoyed to be reunited with it. And Lenore, the Pirate Queen, says, very well. Fates have brought us together because perhaps you are the crew I need to reclaim something that was taken from me. And she kind of tosses up, a little hovering drone that projects a hologram, right? And the The hologram is of a fabulous jewel, right? And she says, the Star of Elysium, rightful mark of my queenship, held illegally by the Tetrarchy and the perfidious Astor family. But my spies tell me young Garyon Astor is going to be wearing it to the Orpheus Gala, and I need people who are capable, and she like casts like a sidelong look at her lieutenant here, people who are capable of subtlety to go to the gala, divest Garyon of this jewel, and return it to me. It's worth a literal queen's ransom. I've heard you have some debt. Perhaps I can help. I know one of you has a truly delicious bounty on her. Perhaps I can assist you to push people off of your trail. But can you help me? She points to the Star of Elysium with this.
I think Eris like does a quick sweep to look to see if anybody voices any particular objection, and not getting any. I think she kind of does one of these sort of like high society bow, complicated bow nod things to indicate etiquette, and says, "Any chance to be a thorn in the Tetrarchy's side, but the help with the debt would be icing on top, Your Majesty."
And she smiles. She bows back. For someone as kind of grizzled and piratical as she clearly knows things about the circles that you, Eris, have moved in. And she says, "Then we have a deal." Just to check, Hoyt, Rose, how are you? How are you taking this whole meeting and proposed job?
This is what the captain wants. I'm agreeable.
All right.
Still trying to figure out probability pathways in my head, but this seems as fruitful as anything.
Yeah, sure.
That gem looks like expensive as hell, so this seems like a really good job.
If like the Pirate Queen catches you like staring at it a little bit, she's like, "For me, of course, it's primarily of value for its history, but indeed there are many interested in the Star of Elysium for its beauty, for its monetary value, and I believe the Starbreaker cult has some harebrained religious notions centered on it. Watch out for them. If I've heard these rumors, they've heard them too."
Eris kind of sighs and is like, "The system seems stuffed with cults at the moment."
Pirate Queen glances at Cadence. It's like, "Well, they come and go, don't they?"
Oh man! Wow. So Cadence is just taking that.
Sorry, Cadence just with a flat expression just stares at her and says nothing.
Nice.
Yeah. Sorry. I thought I should have said that.
That's fair.
As opposed to embodying it, but
It's
yes,
tricky.
yeah, no.
It's tricky to
Exactly.
act your character no selling.
I got that
but
vibe though.
I like that as a moment.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
no, just nothing. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, Pirate Queen will say, well, I leave the arrangements in your capable hands. I'll be waiting. And she looks at, the like fairly gnarly pirate ship she has. I will be waiting in an incognito vessel, 2 stellar units from the location of the gala for the handoff.
Understood. Any other advice, preferred alibis or disguises? We will naturally not reveal our motive whilst executing the mission.
That's decent of you.
Yeah, I think she just kind of rolls her eyes a little bit and is like, the exact particulars of the mission came back to be an annoyance last time. So to be clear, it is the jewel that you wish. No other conditions.
I don't care who gets hurt or who doesn't. The jewel comes back to me. The Tetrarchy will know who took it. She'll sort of pace along, kind of like in front of your crew and like pause and just like, tap her finger on like Rose's cheek and say, "You'll want to do something about your face, dear, if you're going in a stealth mode."
You don't like my face?
Oh, it's a work of art, but she like indicates the metallic markings. They kind of give you away.
Where's my defense? Where's my defense move here? I absolutely have got to do something about this.
Is it practice disdain? Are you going to cut this pirate queen down to size?
Yes, we're gonna do. I just don't like her ragging on Rose because I think she'll butt in and say, I think she'll just kind of like shoulder in a little bit in front of Rose and say, yeah, I'm not sure how it is in the outer reaches these days, but Rose is by far in good taste for the company she's been keeping. Like basically Rose has more experience with these people, with these kind of people than somebody who's been shall we say engaging with enemies does.
Rose, and I say, yes, I have great historical value.
Interesting. Yeah. Do you want to roll practice disdain on this? I could also see it just being about keeping it together, to avoid like letting her be bullying towards your crew. So I am open to either. Kind of depends on how stinging you want your you want what you say to her to come off as, right?
I don't want to 100% insult the lady giving us this job, but I can't let her imply that Rose is inferior. So I think I definitely want to have implied that, like, oh, I think you must be feeling this way because we've been spending a lot of time in the outer reaches. Like Rose is perfectly in style.
That's totally practice disdain because
it totally is.
Yeah, we got to do it.
The result from that is that they're shamefaced or taken aback.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Roll plus savvy to see if that goes through.
Rose is perfectly in style as she is. Woo.
As anyone who moved in the right circles would know. Okay, so that came to a 9.
Yes.
So on a hit there, shamefaced, taken aback, or utterly wrong-footed. So you're definitely going to get that, and whoever targets the next 6 advantage. So if someone wants to follow up on this, it's there. On a 7 to 9, you have to choose feeling remorse or someone thinking less of you for the insult.
I'm
Less
going to spend an edge to push her to 10.
push it up to a 10. Nice. How do you come to the captain's assistance?
Oh well, my remark. It's like, yes, I have great historical value.
Okay, got it. You show you're unfazed.
Yes, I also move closer to Eris to indicate, I'm hers.
Yeah, because I think I wanted this to have the undertone.
And so if you say something up to me, you're actually insulting her.
Nice. Some solidarity.
True. Although, oh man, because I feel like Eris wanted this to be like, Rose Roses herself. You know what I mean? Like I think.
That's great. You were coming to her for defense to show that she was her own person.
Yeah,
but she
and
still kind of like attaches herself to you.
Just because she has
like,
machine lines on her face doesn't mean she's any less of a individual who should be in or out of style. But then Rose is reciprocating naturally by falling into that role.
Man, yeah. So the pirate queen kind of like clears her throat, steps back, kind of blinks her real eye, and then like reaches up and like adjusts her mechanical eye. And she says, very well. You know best, I'm sure, right? And she is taken aback. So there is advantage on anyone following up on this if anyone has a thing they want to has a follow up. But we can also cut the scene if we all feel good about that.
Oh, Hoyt has something.
I mean,
Hoyt, yeah.
I could just like I've got my little data pad and I'm like, who should I see about like the filling the the job, what's the just like the working expenses for the job, like,
nice.
the job. Like try to get just a little bit of pay in advance.
Got it. You're pushing. That's beautiful. You're pushing on her to be like actually we can have some upfront expenses.
There's expenses, yeah.
We're gonna need fuel to get this done.
That's
fuel and fancy outfits and whatever.
That's amazing.
Tax rental.
That's right, a pretty dress.
Bribes and
are you taking a like a warmer approach here or a tougher approach here? Because that's gonna
the warmer, yeah.
Okay, so it's just like totally guileless. Like obviously you would cover our expenses for some of these things.
He's just being very matter of fact, just trying to catch her while she's off guard. And
please roll with warm to turn on the charm, see if you get an opportunity, and you get advantage because of the stinging rebuke she's reeling from as you like step in as the good cop, right? Like you're the nice member of the crew who just has a few practical questions. And let's see if that helps you out, because it could potentially I could potentially see you guys having both the fictional positioning of some supplies and clearing something from your debt track. You take advantage. That's a really nice roll.
That's a 13.
So I think what it is you we're gonna start off when we come back from our break. You can start narrating some of the sweet outfits you've acquired on the Pirate Queen's dime, but in the meantime clear one from your debt track just from the general largesse, giving you a little more breathing room. Sound good?
Yes, amazing.
Nice. Let's take our next break and come back at 10 past the hour. Everybody all right with that? Mm-hmm. Nice. See you soon. Here we are. You guys asked for a gala. So I'll say my aim here is, to at least get us kind of into this gala thing, right? And we may be continuing it in the next session. But I'm pretty excited to get to the probably the cut to the chase move to drop us into this and see how it's going. I realize perhaps we want to wait to describe fancy gala outfits till we're doing the big like arrival at the gala moment. Yeah, okay,
Yes.
good. Then you can brainstorm, but we will keep our powder dry for that. Let's see if there's any other preparations the crew wants to make. Captain, I want to check in with you.
I forget. Can I spend an edge on my own roll to get advantage? Just like if I want to push myself, is that a mechanic that I can do or no?
Not by default, no.
Okay, that's only if I have a move that lets me do that.
Yeah, like you saw how things like the medic move lets you spend an edge for a 10 plus on a specific move. So there's other things a little like that, but for the most part, you use edge to help other people.
It is totally kosher for you to ask for help, though.
Yes.
Okay.
Like at the table level to say, "Hey, I'm going to make this move. Can someone help me out?" And then we narratively figure out what that looks like. You can totally ask if there's a role you think it's important enough that you want to ask for help. Then by all means, ask for help.
Though it's always fine to. It's also a thing where you can make the roll first and then ask because.
Oh, that's right. You let us do it after the fact.
Yeah, because you can see how the dice fall and then decide like, +1 would be great here, or someone I have mutual trust with, please bump me up from this miss.
Okay, I think what I'll do is when I'm calling this, when I'm calling a family friend, I'll do it I'll do it like on speakerphone in here with everybody being silent, but at least you have the opening should things go perfectly south, or it could be fun if they do. But
yeah, Colin will turn fun on speakerphone. Now, is this back aboard the ship?
I assume
back on the Pinion Wisp. Yeah.
Sure.
Okay. Cool. So you've agreed to things with Lenore. We're back on the Pinion Wisp. Eris is making her call. Who's the old family contact you want to turn to here?
I think she looks a little chagrined, and she's like, I didn't want to have to do this, but if it's for the crew. And I think she hits like a button on the thing, and she's gonna call her uncle, who was the former owner of the Pinion Wisp.
Yeah, your gadabout uncle, right?
Yeah,
the one who won this in a gambling contest.
If anybody has tickets to the biggest event of the year, he's definitely has them or stole them from somewhere or knows how to get some.
Did he already have a name, your uncle?
No, I don't think he did, but let's see.
I got one if you want one. Oh yeah, no, you go.
Oh, you do? Oh no, I was thinking that it's something like a Thaddeus Adronomir, like something very stuffy. But if you have something also, maybe that can be his like middle name, or Thaddeus is his middle name, but I call him that when I'm being obnoxious.
he goes by Tad, but you call him Thaddeus when you're being a bratty niece. And he's the impression I got is he's sometimes on the outs with the family just for his kind of like wild lifestyle, but he's not like you, someone who has objected in any way to the like overall way your family makes and keeps its money. Yeah. Okay. Cool.
No,
yeah. It's calling up Uncle Thaddeus.
As long as he's getting the checks, I don't think he cares.
More than happy to spend it.
Yeah.
Just don't want to do any of the work to acquire it.
Yes, that's a 10.
Oh, beautiful. Yeah, so on a hit, they've got the goods, and on a 79, they don't have an they don't have the inconvenient request of a 7 to 9. Cool. So the the call goes through, right? You get like a little hologram of your uncle. He like whips off his space shades. He says, "Little Eris, as I live and breathe. Long time no see."
Just like, hey, Uncle Tad. Was you know how it is going here and there, so booked and busy. I was wondering if maybe
Is that the inside of the Pinion Wisp? Is that where that ship got off to?
I mean, you took it from someone. I'm borrowing it from you. It's a part of
you
the
treat
life.
her right. She's a special lady.
She has been, and I just kind of tap the sides, like serving us well. And we had a whole void dimension in the middle of it. She took it like a champ. It was amazing.
Well, that's a story I've got to hear someday.
Yes, I was hoping that maybe Thaddeus has some connection that could get us into what was the name of the gala again?
The Orpheus Gala.
The Orpheus Gala. I hear that everybody who is truly anybody is going to be there.
All the high muckety mucks. Yeah. I think I got a couple spare tickets to that lying around.
Fantastic. Are you planning on attending or off to another adventure?
That depends. Is this your grand re-entrance? Are you turning up to tell mom and dad what your time off the grid has taught you?
I don't suppose it's like a masked gala or anything like that. Does that happen?
People wear all sorts of things, honey. As long as it looks expensive.
Yes. I think she's like, as much as I would love to have another heart-to-heart with mom and dad, I'm waiting to see how some things play out. Hoping to see how some proposals come through,
Sure. You work your things out on your own time. I know you'll come back to the fold when you're good and ready. Well, if it's not going to be a heartfelt family reunion, I'll probably skip it this year. I'll have my people wire you the ID codes. Don't fear.
Okay. Fantastic. Well, you know that should it go well or poorly, I'm sure you'll read about it on your crystal. So, I'll keep you informed.
Yeah. I'll keep my eye on the society papers.
As always.
Take care of yourself, kid, and take care of the Wisp.
Always.
Tad out. Yeah. So you get your invites.
Fantastic. She's like, okay, well, he's probably chill, so he probably won't tell anyone else, but I'd totally forgotten. I think that she just lets everybody else know. So anybody else need it, and as the ID codes are coming in, she's like, I assume it has a place where we can enter in IDs, and I'm like, do we all want aliases?
You're not going as yourself?
I don't know if I'm ready for that. It would be a shame to go to the gala and not be able to leave again.
I would endeavor to prevent that from happening, should that unlikely event come to pass. And your name and reputation, I think, is better served by not concealing it.
You'll be far more interesting to them as an object of scandal than as an object of mystery.
Yes.
She kind of sighs and is like, I was hoping to stay out of the scandal columns, but with that kind of encouragement, why don't we make the front page? and just kind of like nods. So do we want everyone who has a bounty on their head to go in? Mask off?
I think the others can decide. But I don't. I don't think there's much utility in my trying to conceal my identity. This prototype is pretty recognizable.
And I'm officially deceased.
I have to say you are looking excellent for a corpse, Cadence.
Hoyt, you're the only one who has, no, bounty on your head or other reason to want to go as something else.
I think there's that beat, and we kind of turn to Hoyt, and I say, and he is not anyone yet.
But he could be for this duration of this party.
Yeah, you ever
Yes.
want to be an aristocrat, Hoyt?
Can't say that I have. I don't really know how to.
You get better drinks.
I could definitely introduce a protege to.
He could be the man of mystery.
All we need to do is dress you presentably. You hang on Eris's arm, smile, and say nothing.
Oh, this is fantastic. My parents will be furious. I already love it.
Let observers make their inference about your appeal to her.
You think your parents will be furious because of that?
I mean, it add it to the list, I guess. But they would. I think in her mind, she's like, at least if they think that I've left for principled reasons and not for a person, at least they can respect that. But if they think that I've run off to be with a person in particular, that's definitely not going to go over well. But hey,
No, of course not. That would be a ridiculous assumption, says Rose. It's just the wrong cadence.
So to speak.
No.
Are we feeling like cut to the chase? Are we reaching that point?
I think it's time
kind
to. I think it's time to enter the party.
We've got enough of a plan to give it a go. So when you want to cut forward to the midst of a job, first specify your main objective and basic approach. Main objective, you want the jewel. Yeah?
Steal the jewel.
Steal the jewel. Yeah. Basic approach. Sounds like turn up like your party goers, but don't try to conceal your identities and use the scandal, with Eris's reappearance to your advantage. Am I tracking that correctly?
Yeah.
All right.
Presumably some sort of exit strategy.
Yeah.
Exit strategy. Yeah. Sure. We'll decide what that is when
Yes.
When and if a time comes when you want to exit. Yeah. Okay. Let's turn to this move. The captain rolls plus crewmates who've given the captain trust tokens. How you doing, Captain? As far as trust from your crewmates, you've got trust from Hoyt. Unless anyone else wants to hand over a trust because they feel the the story has supported that.
I will.
Yeah, I think that tracks.
So-
Rose has been, investing trust in the captain. That brings you up to, or did perhaps that was already full. I don't know, but yeah, sure.
It is, but I just
It was already full. Do I clear
No,
or do I just leave it there?
no, just leave it there. You
Okay.
need to collect XP with your other crewmates to fill up the whole track in advance. But but Rose has switched tension
Got it.
to trust. Cadence still feeling some of that tension. That seems fair. So it's a roll with
Yeah. She's still telling me what to
with
do,
a plus
so.
2. Go ahead and make me that roll, Eris.
Glad. Thank you for that. I guess that trust, but that's an 8.
Okay, the grand entrance. 7 to 9, things are getting messy, but you're still in the game. The GM will present each crewmate with a challenge and a consequence. Crewmates choose whether to mark a condition and rise to the challenge, or else accept the consequence. Cool. To GM give you hints and signs of some of the obstacles still in play. I think I want to do this by first hearing a little about how you are dressed when you appear at the gala. Captain, you should probably lead us off.
Oh boy. Okay. I was just looking for the correct picture.
Oh, nice.
But I think she has she is currently decked out. She has she goes into the Pinion Wisp and she's rummaging through the wardrobe, and she pulls out something that was obviously worn by someone Tad had brought onto the ship, I assume, at one point. So it's a really beautiful sort of black and gold sort of gown that has sort of constellation motifs on it, but she has this kind of cape over it or with it that carries this kind of military air, a little bit of a suggestion of something else. So she's here. The statement that she's going for is eye candy, but I'm not here with anybody. I am here as myself. I am in style, in fashion, but not decorating.
Yeah,
anybody
you are in
else.
control, and
Yeah.
decorating your arm is Hoyt. Hoyt, tell us about how you have been disguised as a stylish man of mystery here.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, he's definitely had the full makeover. It's a pretty well-fitting, tailored sci-fi version of the suit. I think, yeah, his hair's been trimmed and slicked back, and I think I'm trying to think what gives away that he's not entirely. I think for the most part, yeah, he looks the part of maybe someone who would be hired to be on someone's arm for something like this.
Okay, yeah.
That's great.
No.
And I think he's got earrings. And then, when he turns his head and he feels it, he keeps reaching up to because he forgets that he's wearing them.
Got it. So you've got the earrings.
So
you fit in with the bejeweled nobles, but you can't
That's the little subtle
ignore
part,
them.
that he keeps forgetting that he's wearing them because he's never worn them before. Yeah, and he keeps surprising himself with them.
Beautiful. Cadence, how are you approaching this?
I have removed my that kind of like ceremonial kind of looking armor that I have and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And I have on like black leather pants, like jacket with kind of squared shoulders and stuff like this, like pleather jacket, right? High collar, hair pulled back very tightly in a like ponytail going down my back, and I am clearly a bodyguard, right? Like somebody, a rich person has for personal security, and and I do that thing where like I walk in with them, I kind of scan it, and I just nod at Eris, and then I like go and stand with the other bodyguards, right? Whatever, or kind of just hang around the edge of the room, or if there's a place like outside the formal ballroom. I mean, I think that sort of separates me from the action. But so like,
we'll say it's it's the edge. It's in the ballroom at the edge where there's other kind of vigilant figures keeping an eye on their principals. Yeah,
exactly. I'm sort of like personal security / chaperone. Clearly, when I enter with them.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Rose, tell me about your entrance.
Rose is wearing an elegant, somewhat diaphanous dress that's scarlet, that has the fabric has a nap in it, and perhaps technology that makes it ripple and shimmer. It conceals almost nothing while being still tasteful. It just doesn't quite show anything.
Yes.
In obviously a very sophisticated, high fashion engineered way.
And we have reference images for Eris's dress that I will show for those watching. I love that cape.
Yeah, definitely think it's more like that, especially to contrast the severity with Rose's like diaphanous sort of moment.
Yeah. Different feels as they both waft into the room.
Rose has there's two other very notable things. The first is that Rose has, for the first time anybody has seen her, has some makeup on that emphasizes the metallic features in her face, so that it's blatantly obvious. And it seems, rather than there being a flaw, it looks like someone went to an enormous amount of expense to have metallic graphs put in as a very striking beauty.
So you're
aspect.
You're selling it as a fashion statement.
Oh yeah, well, but or not. I mean, but she is drawing attention to it.
Yeah.
The other thing she has is she has a necklace with a very prominent Dranomir crest on it. And her posture is hovering just kind of behind and to the right of Eris. In the fashion of a servant. You have the bodyguard, you have the consort, and now you have the prize, as it were.
Yeah.
Look how wealthy I am, that I can afford to have someone or something like this.
Fantastic. Okay. Let me put-
Consorts, plural, perhaps.
Yeah. Let me put some challenges out there for you. Eris, one of the Tetrarch's daughters, Ariadne Besh, is wearing the same dress as you. Your grand entrance will be marred if you don't somehow address this. What do you do?
Oh my gosh, this is the worst possible thing I had not thought of. Oh my gosh, like we have to do something about this.
So much worse than getting attacked by pirates.
Yeah, it is. I mean, this is my entrance. Is there a way? Can I actually
I mean, here's the thing, right? Like the way this move works is there's a challenge and a consequence. So you can mark a condition and rise to the challenge, or else accept the consequence. So if you mark a condition, and we can work out together how you somehow, kind of avoid the consequence of having someone in the same dress, right? Like
yeah,
it could be.
I think I'm shaken. And I think I'm a little shaken, but this also isn't my first rodeo, and I think I just kind of like nod to Rose, and I like before we like if I can catch a glimpse of her maybe through the door, and like we abscond to the ladies room, and I'm like, listen, you're technically accurate. I need to, and I'm going to like rip maybe the cape off. And I'm like, can you help me fix it? Like basically I'm gonna rip this off and we need to like redesign something about this.
Of course.
Speedy redesign to create a like equally stunning, but now, like altered outfit that will show up Ariadne Besh.
Oh yes. No, well, you see clearly this that her outfit is overdone. It would be so much better without this, and without this. Now you see, now that shows off. That shows off your shoulders and your and the strength of your jaw. And the less is more. I think she will appear overdressed when you come into the room.
And she totally does. Turns out Rose's fashion calculations are completely right.
Rose has a huge library of. she's not a designer, but she's got an encyclopedic knowledge of a lot of subjects.
Absolutely.
Yes. So when you make the entrance,
fondness for her subject matter,
you are in a unique and impressive dress that puts the daughter of the Tetrarch to shame. Right. Hoyt, you're coming in on Eris's arm, and there comes a moment when Eris's cousin Sedna just like materializes next to the two of you, right? And Sedna's in this like shimmering silver dress, and she's like, Eris, it's been forever, and who is this fascinating young man you have brought, right? And it's just like asking a barrage of prying questions, trying to get something out of Hoyt. Hoyt, you're going to have to, do something to convince her, right, that you are a, appropriate arm candy here, or else she's going to be suspicious something shady is going on. Hoyt, what do you do?
I mean, his idea of the people at these kind of events is going to it's fully from like holovids and, like
whatever media made its way to the space truck stop.
Yeah. So he's full on just decided, well, whatever character in some, and it's probably like
Do the accent.
I mean, yeah, it's the remake of a remake of a remake of some Elizabethan drama or something that's now taking place on the palaces on Pluto or whatever it is. So yeah, I mean
you're channeling that.
He's just doing his impersonation as best he can. Yeah.
So are you taking a condition to throw Cousin Sedna off the scent, or are you willing to take the consequence of Cousin Sedna knows something's got to be up here?
Oh, I guess I will. I will take. What condition will I take? Yeah, I will take Chili because I think he's very out of character, being like, he's just like, I'm very snooty person who's not friendly and talkative.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. You're pushing down so much of your natural personality to inhabit this aristocratic main.
But really, he really just wants to like look around at everything and just be like excited, and instead he's just like,
Go away, pretty girl who's very interested in me.
Yeah. This is all very boring, and I'm not totally excited to be here or interested in any of this.
Beautiful. I love it. Yeah, Rose, you spot a woman in a white dress that somehow, even though it's a formal dress, still feels like a lab coat the way she's wearing it. It is reminding myself of her name.
No.
Our friend Dr. Zenobia Foster of the Dranomir Void Space Laboratory.
She hates parties like this.
She does not look like she's having fun, but she has been dragged here, and her eyes like flicker towards you.
Rose is stunned for a moment.
So, the consequence, there's the potential consequence of her being extremely interested in what her runaway creation is doing here, or you can mark a condition to sideline that consequence, or forestall that encounter. So what do you do?
I don't think. I think I'll have to accept the complication.
Yeah.
I think anything else, would be shortcutting drama. Here.
Yeah. Okay. So Dr. Zenobia, absolutely going to be a complication. We see her eyes like, focus in on Rose. Probably she drops a champagne flute and there's a little shattering sound, right?
Yes.
Kadence, you had taken a station amongst the bodyguards. You spot, a couple of the people who, like you, are dressed in minimalist black. There's something in their void resonance that tips you off that these are agents of the Starbreaker cult, right? Like you get that spidey sense, and you notice them kind of moving subtly but inexorably through the crowd, converging on your mutual target, Garyon Aster of the Tetrarchy Asters, who's gesticulating with a hand that sparkles with this massive gemstone that you're here to take. Are you going to deal with the Starbreakers here, or accept the consequence of their convergence on this young aristocrat?
Oh, I will deal with the Starbreakers here.
Yeah, tell me how you do that and what condition you mark.
Yeah, so they are approaching him, and I kind of look at them, and I like kind of shoulder my way through the crowd, And as I do, I'm pressing the box, and I start to flicker, and I reach out and I just tap each of them on the shoulder with my flickering hand, like tap, tap,
Tap, tap, tap.
and then, and as I do, like that, there's like a jolt of probability energy that travels through, and you can see they immediately start to kind of shimmer and flicker, both of them. And actually, like, and like, there's like a spark and a little bit of smoke that comes out of my hand from the first one. And when I tap the second one, like there's a very clear feedback, and I like, and like, literal smoke comes out of my hand, and I kind of look at it, and the circuits are a little bit fried. And so I'm gonna mark numb.
Oh,
because like I've kind of shorted out my ability to,
yeah.
contact the void because
You've
I've damaged
spent
my
some of
circuitry there.
your
But-
void connection on
But,
dealing
like-
with this threat.
By tapping each of them on the shoulder, with every step they take, they get halfway closer to their target.
So they're stuck, right? They can't close that final part of the distance.
Yes. So what are they? Is that Zeno's paradox? Is
It's
that what they
Zeno's
call it?
paradox.
Yes.
Yeah, it's
Yes.
one of
So-
Zeno's paradoxes.
Exactly. Yes. So this is a this is a Zenoic snare that I have caught them in.
Oh, that's amazing. Okay, caught them in a Zenoic snare. That is wonderful. Yeah, so I think we see the prince. We'll call him a prince. That's perhaps technically his father is the prince, right? The merchant prince, but he is the heir of the Astor family, and so Garyon Astor, is kind of like blithely sailing through this gala, plucking a third champagne flute, kind of like holding his hand up to the light, so the kind of star field of the ceiling of this gala venue sparkles off of the jewel that he's holding, and to the immense frustration of the Starbreaker agents, they keep feeling like they're closing in on him and they never reach him, and instead he appears in front of you, Eris, and he says, "It's Eris Dranomir, yes?"
Yes, I think she just kind of nods and toasts him, and she's.
I heard
like,
you were in some kind of expensive rehab. At least that was the rumor flying around.
Rose is demurely looking at the floor and trying not to punch him.
Oh yeah, thank you. Expensive rehab. I think Eris just kind of smiles and says, "Well, isn't being an entrepreneur something of an addiction, I suppose? It definitely is expensive." And she just toasts him.
Oh, that's good. That's good.
I don't know if I'm not disdaining him, but I'm definitely going to be I'm gonna want to turn on the charm.
Well, but also there's a move just for this kind of gathering, isn't there?
Is there?
You have a move that's just for that.
Oh, you're wondering if negotiator might trigger?
Yeah, well, this is.
I don't know. Let's wait till there's more NPCs on the
Okay,
scene, right?
fine.
Oh, true.
But I totally buy that might be.
But she
that
is.
might
I
be
mean, she
imminent.
is schmoozing the crowd, right? And
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah, that's true. Well,
I mean,
yeah.
we've already got him, her cousin, the one that was wearing the same dress, multiple bodyguards, stuff, maybe other cult members. So,
Dr. Foster.
I mean, there's
who-
and the doctor.
Yeah,
Yes.
you know what? If you want to trigger negotiator, like if you're aiming to, if you tell me kind of what you're hoping to get out of the interaction, we can trigger negotiator and see how it goes.
This is why you wanted a gala.
Yes, I think that I think that what I want to do is kind of tilt my glass and lean in a little conspiratorially and say
Mhm.
like, tell me, have you ever wanted to see what life is like outside of this gilded prison? Something like,
Nice.
and like and
Very good.
maybe she takes like takes a finger and runs it along the like necklace and is like, I mean, say, you know, kind of like hinting that these are restraints rather than you know, even though the restraints are second to none. I think she's just
Oh.
trying to appeal to see like, what does this guy want? Like,
Yeah. He says, oh, intriguing. Tell me more. Right. So let's roll negotiator and see how you fly here.
oh god.
And people have some edge to help out if that becomes necessary.
What am I calling this? Whoa, yes.
Boom.
Oh my goodness.
Yes.
Still.
I see my penchant for wild names has led to confusion. Garyon is his name.
Garyon, got it. Sorry.
I have thrown him into the NPCs tab now.
Right.
But yes, you rolled an 11. Meaning
Still got it a little bit.
you still got it. Yeah. You're back. In fact, you're in your element here, right? Like,
Yes.
you've been off skirting the law, but here you are at the top of the heap and working your charms on the prince, right? So when you mind your manners and navigate a social situation involving multiple NPCs, roll plus warm. On a hit, you charm or beguile someone of your choice. He is charmed and beguiled, and you know what? He will probably say as much. He's like, Eris, I feel like I remember you as a sort of off-putting stick in the mud, but you are far more charming and beguiling after your time away. So whatever you found out there, I want it.
And this is where I kick her a trust token now. This is what, like, seeing her wrap this idiot around her finger. That's impressive.
Nice.
Amazing.
So I'm gonna change that to trust and mark a box there.
Beautiful. 100%. So you're talking with Garyon. You see over his shoulder these like increasingly frustrated bodyguard types that seem to be trying to get closer to him, but
that's
really...
totally cool. And they'll have turned and are now starting to walk towards him, and somehow can't seem to like I like the idea that, like, from an observer, they don't understand what's going on. Maybe some kind of like trick of the. It sounds like they're getting closer, but they're not, or whatever.
I think it might be that it just seems like something or another gets in the way.
Yeah.
And so they have to keep. So they're having to make little detours, and somehow they never actually get
exactly. Yes,
very
waiters
much
and
closer.
Dancers.
Yeah,
and
dancers.
All that stuff, and yeah,
then people move a table.
I love that.
Laden with things in the way. It's just.
Yeah, that's awesome. And like as they are held up, instead, like striding forward is this this woman in her white dress, not having any fun at this gala, Dr. Zenobia Foster, clearly making a beeline for your little group. So Eris, you see that in time to do something, but she's clearly intent on the three of you.
I think that because he said tell me more, right? And
he did, yes. He's charmed and intrigued.
I think what I say is like, I always find that this discussion works better in a with some fresh air, don't you think? And I'm gonna like gesticulate toward, like, I assume that there's like a gorgeous balcony situation somewhere.
It's gotta
that
be.
Some sort of like secluded ish balcony, and I just kind of like step in a way and sort of like float that way, and I'm like, as he goes by, like me peeking out behind, making eye contact with everybody else.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah, so you're signaling for. Are you? Do you still have Hoyt on your arm? Like Garion has no problem just like completely ignoring Hoyt if that's what he feels he should do. But it's up to you whether you're towing Hoyt at this point.
Right. I feel like when we're talking, I feel like I step out a little bit so that Hoyt is kind of like in the entourage, but like I'm definitely like doing a maneuver so I can take y'all with me so we don't have to run into this. But like if Hoyt would like to come along as well, that's fine. But also like if he wants to kind of like do his own little recon or like fade in or get a glass of punch or something like that, now is an excellent time to do that too. So I feel like,
Nice.
you were here, but yeah.
Eris,
Yes.
Dr. Foster has seen me and will not be put off. Should I
What would
occupy
you?
her? I'm afraid your prototype is not does not know what to do in this situation.
I think she just puts a hand on her shoulder and says, Rose, what do you want to do? Do you want to talk to her?
I want you to get what you want.
And I think she just kind of smiles and is like, I already have that, as long as we all stay safe.
And like the two of them are talking, and this doctor is approaching.
Mm-hmm.
I will.
And so I'm just gonna.
Dr. Foster.
I just like there's a waiter going by, and I just like grab a wine glass, and like just take a couple of steps, bump right into her, and just spill a big old glass of wine on that white lab coat of hers.
Nice. The
And
wet
I'm
dress,
doing
but it feels like a lab
dress,
coat when she's
whatever.
wearing
Yes,
it.
yeah. You know what? In the picture, she's wearing a lab coat. But
Yes.
yeah, just big glass of Burgundy. Oh dear, please forgive me. And I'm like, and I'm doing that thing where I'm like patting her down and just kind of in her way, in her face,
That's beautiful.
Yeah.
Given that we are reaching the end of our time, I think we'll pick up at the next session with what's going on at this gala. I just want to throw one more thing in here as we're fading out, right? Which is Kadence, you are running interference on the doctor, but you also hear a voice in your head, and a male voice says, "Fancy that you should have survived as well, Kadence. But then again, I guess we were both Staccata's best pupils." And there's a unmistakable edge of rivalry and menace to the message.
All right.
And with that, let's real quick do our end of session move. Each crewmate can say if there's someone they feel closer to and give them a trust token, or someone who's stressing them out and give them a tension token. Kadence, anything you need to do on that front?
Yeah. So I am going to double down on my trust for Hoyt.
Nice.
Because like he has been doing exactly what he's been told. Which is exactly what he should be doing. So he has managed to, like I'm impressed that he has, restrained his enthusiasm for this. So I thought sure when that, the young woman approached him, that he would crack like that, and he didn't. So
Beautiful. Hoyt, any trust retention you want to hand out at the close here?
I think it's trust in Eris.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. You've come here on her arm. That's very good. Make sure to mark that XP. Oh wow, Eris, you've filled up on trust now. Things have turned around from when there was a bunch of tension there. Eris, turning to you, any trust or tension you need to give out?
This is tough because I gave trust to Hoyt, and I feel like he's definitely following through with that right now. I feel it doesn't help mechanically, though. I feel like I definitely. Although maybe we'll just maybe we'll have to see how this goes with the doctor. I want to give trust to Rose, like I really do. Like I feel like it narratively fits as well. Oh yeah, another cat.
It helps a little bit mechanically because it brings you to mutual trust, which gives you bonuses.
Yes,
right?
Yes. So I think I definitely would like to do that, though. Yeah. Though did I give Kadence? Okay, so I am still at trust with Kadence as well. I would.
Yes.
Maybe I will double down on that next session then, because that, like, she's been so solid and like stepping in as the bodyguard.
We got 3 hours of the next session before we draw any conclusions there. Let's play to find that out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah.
And Rose is going to have to step up to Dr. Foster. So
yeah. There's
really
some
no
interesting pieces all in play at the Gala. I'm excited about it.
That's right. I should have totally. I can't believe I should have used my captain move to give you edge when you asked, like, I want what you want.
That's all right. We've got time. We'll see.
All right.
We'll see who needs to keep it together and who needs to be helped with that. Yeah, we will play that all out. No, never fear. Rose, do you want to hand someone a trust or attention?
I gave out 2 already during the sessions thing. So I don't think I've. It makes sense to double up.
That's fair. I will. You know what? I'm gonna say the ship feels trust for Hoyt now, because Hoyt has been, a real steady member of this crew. The ship no longer feels like, Hoyt is flaky or unreliable. You've been patching people up, as you've gone from place to place. So the ship's giving you that trust token.
If I just get a chance to fly it, I can ruin that.
Nice. All right, we're close. There's every chance we'll see people advance in the next session. So if you feel so inclined, feel free to take a look at advanced crew roles between sessions and see if there's something that excites you. But for now, right. Factions, the ship and the factions.
Did Hoyt make a declaration?
Yes. I think you gave trust to the captain, right, Hoyt?
Yep.
So for the ship, I think it's pretty clear you guys messed stuff up for the Starbreaker cult. Obviously, probably there's more messing up to come, but you foiled their initial approach. So I'm gonna have them give you tension. And you're on the cusp of being helpful to the Styx Syndicate. Did you prove useful to a faction? I'm gonna do it.
We gave her that sword back. We didn't
give him that sword
everybody.
back. Yeah. I'm gonna do it. So that fills up the ship's advancement track. So another thing to think about between sessions is what role you want to take for the ship. And because you're evenly balanced between tension and trust, you can pick from either list. So perhaps think a little about your own preferences, and we'll consult as a crew to pick an advancement for the ship. And I'll be excited to perhaps have us get back in the ship and possibly make use of whatever that advanced
Get
role
away.
is. Yeah, as you get away. Good playing with everybody, and anyone who's tuned in. Thanks so much. We'll be back for more later, but till then, stay safe out there. Good night.